You know what? We don't have a lot of time. So,
quick trip to Taquitos. Taquitos and Takis.
Nice.
Gotta have that vitamin
Okay.
T, some chocolate milk.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Bueno, Cameron, I am going to start with a little intro for you, and then we'll just lead into the questions.
Cool.
So, ladies and gents, we have CameronCarlson with the Zombie Research Society here with us today. I forget exactly how you found him, but I went to do a little bit of research, and he was an officer in the United States Navy. He was working on counter-piracy operations in the Gulf of Aden, if that's correct. Is that correct?
Aden.
Because I found all of this online really quick.
Piracy is in like Somali pirates, like Tom Hanks kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is my boat now.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Dude.
And it says he's researched disaster relief effectiveness around the world and is an expert in outdoor survival. Dude, we're so glad to have you.
Well, I'm a Zombie Research Society member. Yeah.
Right, and he's
That's
a part of the
insane.
Zombie Research Society. So, like I said, we're happy to have you on here, man, just to talk, because we like weird stuff. We
do.
all things conspiracy, all things that pique our interest, and this was definitely an interest we wanted to pique and a person we wanted to talk to.
Yeah,
I found out the other day that the CDC had a zombie plan.
Oh, yeah.
In
That's
place.
it.
I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I was calling bullshit. I'm like,
Oh,
there's
no.
no way in hell the CDC would be prepared for zombies, And then I started looking up. I'm like, there's a whole team of these guys out there. Zombie Research Society.
Yeah.
There's a whole team of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I was
They're
going to
actually
say,
planning for it.
so we're going to jump right in. So what is the Zombie Research Society? What is their purpose, their mission, their job, and how do you play into that?
So the Zombie Research Society, or the ZRS kind of thing, is really dedicated to the science, the study of zombies overall, and not just zombies, but every facet of life that goes into it: survival, education, science, how it will come about, the history of it, the proliferation of different like media outlets, like movies, things like that, and how it would come about. So everything that you could think of YouTube, but very, very focused, and then just go onto the site, and then you just go down a rabbit hole. That's what the Zombie Research Society is.
Okay.
And I got involved kind of by sheer happenstance. When I was doing my master's degree in California, I was writing it, and it was private public disaster relief and how to respond to it from across the board, like private companies plus government assets responding to a disaster. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to be forced to write this thing, let's make it fun. And so I had the idea of like, worst case scenario is zombies. Like, yeah, let's do this. And I was like, there's no
communist zombies. Yes.
Right. And I was like, there's no way people are going to sign off on this. And lo and behold, my advisor, he's like, yeah, let's run with it. And so I had 3 doctors sign off on this project. And I was like, boom, done.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, dude. So I called up I emailed Matt Moak, the founder of the society. And I said, hey, do you want to meet in LA for an interview? And he's like, yeah, bro, totally down. Meet me at this place. And I swear to you, like, I'm driving to LA with my friend, and we meet in this like industrial park. Like, everything is abandoned around us, dude. It is like the it is the quintessential scene. Dude, it was, and where do we meet? Do we meet for hot dogs? And not just hot dogs, but it's LA. So we have hot dogs that are made of snake, alligator, like groundhog. Dude, it is the weirdest thing, bro.
Wait, is that an LA
like,
tradition?
this is like,
you have groundhog hot dogs?
bro, I don't.
Is that a...
Bro, I have no idea. Like,
Are they called
we
ground
went to a
dogs?
hot dog place. Yeah, they're called ground dogs, bro. Like, for real. And we come to a hot dog place, dude. And I'm like, who goes to a hot dog place? And so, we meet up and we do this interview, and he says, hey, and I say, hey, man, if you ever want any help with the society, let me know. I'll help you out with survival, whatever, reviews, blah, blah. I didn't think anything of it. Like, 3 months go by, and I'm sitting I'm at the gym, and I get an email on my phone, and it was Matt, and it's like, hey, do you still want to hang out, or do you still want to like contribute to the society? I'm like, bro, is the Pope Catholic? Yes, I want in. And so after that, I started writing articles, and I started a YouTube channel for it. And now I'm a managing partner of the site. Me and Luke Boyd, we kind of manage the site and do all that stuff. So, it was a fortuitous turn of events.
That is insane. That is
You
great.
are either the luckiest or unluckiest person I've ever met in my life,
Bro,
That was
straight
definitely
hashtag
just
lucky.
once in a lifetime.
Hashtag lucky.
Yeah,
It was just
Hashtag
right place
lucky.
at the right time for sure.
That was. He's like, no
Absolutely.
one will sign off on it. He's like,
There's no
actually,
way.
we've got a lot coming your way now.
Now he's a zombie doctor in the Navy.
yeah,
I'm telling you
exactly.
that's cool.
exactly.
Well, and I think, and a lot of it was people are put off by the, because whether it was Hollywood or television or like, I love The Walking Dead, but like when someone hears zombie, their brain immediately shuts off. But for us, we were like, maybe there's something deeper into what he means by zombie.
Yeah.
So like you brought up, you were like, what does he mean by zombie? Like, what's the definition
Yeah.
of zombie?
So,
Aside from it being French for zombie or whatever.
it's
Zombie.
very,
How would
very
they say
cranberries of you, bro.
it?
So the way the society defines zombie is it is an individual who has come back to life and has your basal instincts. So like it has very minimal brain activity, but there is electrical activity in the brain, and it is driven by the need to feed. That is what a zombie is.
Okay.
And we can argue semantics all day long because, zombie, the word zombie and everything else has been proliferated throughout history. It actually came from,
No kidding.
it actually came from a Haitian voodoo kind of connotation of when people they would take these powerful sedatives in these voodoo or these voodoo rituals led by what they call a bokor, and who is a dark magic priest, and then they would die under these sedatives. Their heart would slow down to near nothing. They would go into the ground, and then once that wore off, they would rise from the dead. So that was your first recorded word of zombie. And then during the Civil War time frame, where all the slaves, they would say something. They wouldn't want to kill themselves because a lot of these people came from Haiti, across from Africa, which still had a lot of influences. They had a very big fear of the undead. And so they would rather be slaves than undead. And that's where that zombie whole thing comes in. And then it wasn't until very recently with pop culture, and I'm talking last 50 years with George Romero, 50, 60 years, George Romero, and The Night of the Living Dead. That's where you see the first real reference of pop culture and the zombies, and it evolved from there.
Got you. Because
I guess I had a little bit of a follow-up question, if I may. I saw a little bit of, stuff about certain, I can't, sound like some bark or whatever, bark tech or whatever. They were pretty close to, but how close are we,
what was it?
To, it was something called, I can't remember the exact name of it.
what's your reference to? Is it a company?
It was on the website. It was a company that did the.
Oh, that was
baby in
creating?
the Foetus or whatever. They had it like in this little pod, and I was reading about that, but I don't know if there's any, like, how close are we to actually having zombies here?
I mean, excuse me.
Could that be a real thing?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, think about it this way. The last time the world saw a pandemic was like 1918 time frame with the Spanish flu, and and think about it this way: that flu killed upwards of 100 million people in 18 months.
Good gracious.
18 months.
Yeah,
right.
A little over a year.
Yeah, over a year. And
Year and a half.
Yeah, year and a half.
Year and a half.
And if you look at the technology we have today, if you look at the advancements in medical technology, it's possible. It's possible. The one thing that I would caveat with is that if you look at every zombie movie that we know of, Resident Evil, Night of the Living Dead, 28 Days Later, you pick your poison. The difference is that it wouldn't happen as quickly as the movies show. So it wouldn't be 15 seconds, like you get bit, boom, 15 seconds later you're a zombie. It doesn't work that way. But do I think it's possible? Absolutely, because nature's already done it. There are already what we call zombies out there. It's not a virus.
Okay, we're getting more on that. Yeah, what?
Yeah. Right.
Show me Carfax. This is stuff they don't teach you in school.
No, so it's not a virus. It's a fungus called the cordyceps fungus. And if you've ever seen the game, The Last of Us, if you haven't, all need to get on that.
Yes.
You all need to play that because it is the best game out there, I think. But the cordyceps fungus,
Excellent.
basically it is a fungus that lands on ants in South America. And the parasite burrows into the ant's head, takes over the ant's brain, forces it to climb to the tallest tree it can, latch on, die, and then the fungus erupts out of its head and it spreads more spores onto ants below. So that right there, by definition, is a zombie.
Dang.
Wow. And it only works on ants. You don't think that if
For
there was
now.
enough of it for now, yeah. I'm wondering if they're
To quote Jeff Goldblum,
physiologies-
nature will find a way.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Jurassic Park.
There
Well,
we go.
and-
Yup.
And ironically, when I was doing my due diligence on you as well, you did an article, or they interviewed you for like a review of games or a game critique over things like that, and it mentioned The Last of Us, Dying Light, and you kind of went into definition, but you said something, I think it was State of Decay is the most accurate portrayal of a zombie. Now, I haven't played any of these, so why is State of Decay so
I'll tell you what.
relevant, I guess, when it comes to zombies?
You've done your homework. So
Yeah,
so State of Decay, the reason it's so real is because unlike most zombie games, like Dying Light is very action forward. It's very, go out, run around. There are certain aspects of it that kind of tie in, like if you throw a firecracker, okay, noise, they'll go to it. But it's very, very up, like day by day. State of Decay is, by definition, if you think of a zombie apocalypse, like think of day 120, right? So 4 months later, whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 6, 9. Yeah, 4 months later. Good. Okay, math. Yeah, don't do that. But if you look at that, the State of Decay games, I'm garbage at math. But if you look at the State of Decay games, it really, really takes into account, okay, I start out basically as a survivor. The infrastructure has fallen. There are no first responders. There's nothing. Like it is now vigilante justice. It's everything that you see in Walking Dead in the later seasons. Do what you need to do to survive. Yeah. And it takes place over a long period of time. And it's not like you can just go out with a shotgun and start blowing holes in things, because that'll attract things. And that's the whole premise of the game. You must think smart. Huge open world. I mean, it'd
be like I Am
forging.
Legend.
Yeah, exactly. It's forging for resources.
Where it takes like what, years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what kind of turns people off about the game, because everyone's like, I want action now. But this is like, build up your resources, build up your compatriots, survey land, things like that. But it is the most accurate game when it comes to like the apocalyptic landscape I've ever seen.
Right. Well,
and you can't just find a med kit. Like you can't just get bit and find a med kit and you're fine.
Hey, what's
like,
that big red
there's
box
a doctor
over there
in the game. Yeah, right.
It's floating and glowing.
Red Cross. Yeah, let's go get
There's
that.
no expert in real life, buddy.
There's like a physical doctor in the game that like will research cures, and it takes X amount of time. If you don't get the cure in that amount of time, you're dead. It's awesome.
Right.
Luckily, we have you.
Yeah, well,
actual zombie doctor.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, right.
This part, okay. Gently Buzz exclusive. This is the pack. Okay, zombie apocalypse. We're going all the way to the East Coast.
Definitely. I've already got a Harley and everything, bro. We can make this badass.
Dude, we can totally be Daryl. From Walking Dead.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Chase has got the smile. I got the bike. You got the moonshine and the knowledge. I mean, we got this.
We're good.
That's right.
Ooh-wee.
Oh yeah.
But because like I said, I didn't know, because I think that's where people get lost, and that was a good thing. I'm glad you mentioned, because you were a survival, like how to survive. So like if something was to take over at this magnitude, Cameron would be fine, but like us regular people, we'd be like, oh, maybe we'll just find some band-aids, then we'll be fine. It's not just going to be that easy. It's going to be just super hard, and no one, and I guess even myself, I don't think of, like, I never thought of the infrastructure going down. No first responders. I'm like,
there's
someone,
no electricity.
Yeah, I'm like, someone will be there. Nope. And then I was watching a video that he did. You were hired by Microsoft, or you did a video with Microsoft about the game,
Yeah,
and he
man.
goes, you're gonna have water for 2 weeks, and then you're not gonna be able to trust the water anymore. And
It'll
even
grow stagnant.
and even that, I was
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, this is gonna be super hard.
How long could
Yeah,
you
I
make
was
it?
like,
Yeah.
How long
but
could
it's
you
like,
make it?
it's how long I could make it, or how long could just like individuals
Forever.
make it. Yeah, right.
like
I'm
everyday
a
people
Versus
who
the
who-
average person.
So I have a theory that
Okay,
if you escape the city life, and you go to like the woods or whatever everybody else says, if you die of hunger or of thirst, you're obviously not trying hard enough. Because the one thing that keeps you alive is the will to live. And if you have the will to live,
Yep.
you will figure it out. Trust me. Like that's the truth. Water is not hard to
Already
find
country
if you
boys, you
search
got
for it.
this.
we got this.
Right. Y'all are fine. Like y'all are fine. Like I grew up in Montana, and if anything has taught me anything,
Right.
is that
He's
there's-
gonna last
you can-
forever. He grew up in
yeah,
Montana.
you're like you could do anything. Like, but that's what I'm saying. If you die based upon just the natural causes, you're not trying hard enough. Like you can hit a rabbit with a rock
Right.
if you try hard enough. You can make it. Yeah, right. Come on, now. You know what I'm talking about. Like,
Anything could be a hammer with the right attitude.
yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest thing that nobody gets is that's like, okay, survival expert. Okay, you know why? Because I've read books. I've done training. I've done all that.
Right.
But anybody can read a book. I've got a book behind me that's literally called How to Live in the Woods. And that book, if anybody buys that, hang on, let me see if I can get it. Hang on. That book.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really had that book.
Yeah,
We need that.
I'm sorry. It's How to Stay Alive in the Woods. This book.
How to Stay Alive in the Woods.
Yep, this book right here. How to Stay Alive in the
Excellent.
Woods.
There you go.
If you get this book, you will have no problems. Even in the back, it says survive anywhere under any conditions.
Henry David Thoreau style.
Boom, Roadhouse.
I was gonna say who. I was say who wrote that book? Just out of curiosity, so we can.
A guy named by the Bradford Angier.
Okay, perfect. Bradford Angier. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm adding that to my book collection.
We definitely are.
Yeah,
But
literally.
Stock market and then zombie stuff.
yeah, like I said, all of that's gonna go out the window. And like I said, a lot of people go, "Oh, I'd be fine." Like we have a good buddy who, he's got guns galore. He's actually deployed right now, so he's in the military.
Shout out to you, Adam Guthrie. You
Adam
hang in
Guthrie,
there,
if you're
buddy.
watching. But like even all the amount of firepower he has, you got to think smart. And now, maybe it's just because I know myself, but I would much rather do like katana style than have to think, because I didn't play The Last of Us because I got super frustrated. Because I'm like, you got to think. I just want to go around and like shoot zombies. There was no rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I'm like, I'll just find Left 4 Dead. You ever played that game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where you get so super
yeah.
fast paced, you're running around. You're like, oh look, there's
Yeah.
an axe right here. There's a
See?
med kit. I'll be fine.
I feel like I'd be more the booby trap guy. Like what the
Yep.
Goonies go through? I'd make them zombies go through some Goonies type shit. They ain't getting me.
You just said a booby traps like the Chinese kid.
Yeah. Some Rube Goldberg machines.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
like very complex. This one minor thing hits him over the head with a coconut. I'm good.
Number one zombie
Well,
kill of
and-
the week goes to.
Yeah. Joey Buzz.
But the so because I'm glad you brought it up, because you mentioned like the pandemic. Obviously, we're in the coronavirus pandemic. When something like that occurs and you see the media, you see everybody go and they go, okay, now we have all these restrictions and guidelines and masks. And did that throw any red flags
No,
to you?
no, because
So you were like, oh my gosh, could this develop into something?
Well,
Could this?
the funny thing about that was when I wrote my dissertation, and it sucks because my dissertation was published probably 4 months ago, and it was like at the height or like right at the beginning of the coronavirus. But if you look at my dissertation, I called I couldn't have called the coronavirus more accurately than I did.
Dang.
Yeah, like
Hey, why didn't they make that on the? Why didn't you hear that on the media?
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna say, like,
The only difference between the coronavirus and what I predicted was mine was a high mortality, like very high mortality virus. It was what I called a chimera virus, where it was like something incubates inside. It prevents one, or it presents one set of symptoms while the other, like hemorrhagic fever, lays dormant. So it basically throws everybody off, and it infects people at an exponential rate.
Is this more airborne or?
Yeah, airborne pretty much. I mean, just like this one was for the airborne.
okay.
I say airborne, but it's not. But yeah, I mean, when I saw this thing happening, I was like, it's coming, it's coming, because you remember SARS 1 back in like 2004, I think it was. The reason that didn't make a huge scene was because when China found out that it was in their provinces, that they shut borders. They shut borders and they just totally attacked it like head on, and they shut it down. That was why you never really heard about it. But by the time that the United States and the world figured out what was going on, it was way too late.
right.
And so when this coronavirus came out, I was like, okay, so the good thing is that it's not it doesn't have a high mortality rate. So
It's me.
Right.
not, yeah, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, it sucks that like 200,000 people have died. But
Right.
again, let's take a step back and look at this virus and go, bruh, in 8 months, the Spanish flu killed 15 million. Like, bro,
Yeah.
it sucks, but it is what it is.
Right.
But again, this whole thing, if you look at, and what worries me the most is not the pandemic as a whole, but the response of the United States from a public standpoint. Like we almost had this virus on the run, like month 3, like we saw it plateau, we saw it going down, and everyone was like, yay, coronavirus is over. I want to go back to Fuddruckers.
Let's riot in the streets,
Applebee's,
everybody.
Right.
Right. Let's all spit in each other's mouths. It'll be great. It'll be good times. And
Let's all share
like,
one cup at a concert.
Right. Exactly. Let's all touch each other's faces. It's gonna be great.
Hobo
And
orgies.
that's what yeah, exactly. And that's what bothers me about the American public. It's like, bro, I understand that you want to go back to freaking Applebee's, but come on, man. Like if this shit was high
Well, yeah. Now look at us.
bro, seriously, now it's like, okay, what are we gonna do here? Now it's kind of one of those, if I don't talk about it, it really doesn't exist. That's what bugs me the most.
Yeah.
Well, and there was an article on my phone, and I got to be wary of what Google sends to me. But it was saying, it was a bunch of stuff about, now we're seeing numbers go down. See, American public, this works. Wearing your mask, doing this, doing that, it works. And so from a person who's a disease detective like yourself, I was going to ask if it was just us blatantly ignoring that, oh my gosh, it's gone. We're just going to say it's gone and go out, and it's summertime. Let's go have fun. So if you believe, since you're the expert,
Yeah.
if everybody just hunkered down and they didn't go anywhere, would this have ended
Yes.
a long time ago? Or
Yes.
would we still be? Yes, it would have.
Absolutely.
It would have been.
If people realized that this was, if they really wanted something like this to go away, if you abided by the do not go out unless X, Y, and Z, and they had their groceries delivered, and they had their alcohol delivered, and they had all this other garbage delivered, and they didn't leave the house, and it was minimal contact, yeah, this shit would have gone away in 3 months, like plain and simple. But that's not the case. But it sucks, and
Come on,
that's,
people.
yeah, that's the truth right there. Like that, from an epidemiological standpoint, yeah, it would have gone away, but it didn't, and now we're in the situation where we're going to have the flu season, and we're going to have the COVID season.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants to talk about this vaccine that comes out, and it's like, oh, the vaccine's out, I can go out and do whatever I want. Okay, no, it's exactly the same thing as a flu virus. No, take it, because you're going to get it every single year now, because you're going to have the flu virus, which you're going to get an immunization for anyway, and then you're going to have a COVID virus that you're going to get a freaking shot for. It's going to be the medical community's best schwack at what they think the virus is going to do.
I don't know, man. I read somewhere that Bill Gates brought back polio, trying to find a cure for COVID.
Nah.
Polio, bro.
Nah.
Hasn't been around since the 20s?
Yeah, nah.
I don't want polio.
No, polio's
I
not.
ride a motorcycle. That won't look as cool if I got no legs I can use.
Well, I don't know.
want no damn
That might be
polio.
pretty boss, though. Like, think about that. Like, just a waist
I got a
rolling down the
shift, bro.
highway.
I got a shift.
Well, so people are talking to us about our new reality with the mask and all this kind of stuff. Our new reality is going to be a vaccine other than the flu shot every year. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
So now we're going to have to get every year. We're going to have to go in there. Me and my son, we're going to have to go get another COVID shot. And then we're like, okay, flu on this one, COVID on this one.
Because remember,
Now you're studying diseases and everything.
Yeah, like the flu vaccine is nothing more than, okay, we saw this last year. This is our best guess of what the flu is going to mutate into, because the influenza virus is very, very, very smart. Right? Smart. So it mutates all the time.
It evolves
because
quicker,
viruses.
does it not?
You say what?
It evolves at a rapid rate, so you can never,
It does.
never fully gets acclimated to one climate.
Well, not only that, but viruses are by themselves are cannibalistic. So if you have one flu virus, let's say flu virus A, is stronger than flu virus B, A will eat or destroy B until something stronger than A comes along. Now that's what they're trying to prevent. But the flu vaccine is they're trying to say, okay, we think this is going to happen, so we're going to vaccinate against everything that we see across the board. And that's why people say, oh, well, the flu vaccine is 75% effective. And it's going to be the same thing with COVID now. COVID's not going away. It is what it is. It's here to stay, period. And so you're going to see the medical community go, yep, COVID vaccine time, schwack. Next year, COVID vaccine, schwack. We think this is what's going to happen. And you're still going to see people hospitalized. It just is what it is.
Now, with you studying different diseases and everything, and you mentioned earlier their reaction to the SARS virus.
Yep.
Was this man-made? Why didn't they react the same way they did in the SARS virus? You know, it was made in a lab?
No, I don't think it was. I honestly, because if you look at the time frames of SARS 1, which happened in 2001, maybe 2002, I can't remember the exact time frame. But then you have MERS, which was the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, which happened in 2007. Then you had some unnamed disease. It's almost every 6 years, like clockwork, and it's because, again, nature will find a way. Like, it's a virus finding a way to go that originates, because remember, the SARS virus that we're facing now and in the future is nothing more than a cold virus. It's a rhinovirus. It's part of that whole rhinovirus family. So that causes common colds. But most of the SARS viruses, like the coronaviruses, are in animals originally. So they are called zoonotic. So when they make that bridge between they're already fully formed viruses, and all it takes is one small mutation to then branch over into the human human body. Now you've got that gap, because now you have in the Chinese wet markets, that is a perfect environment for those transmissions to occur.
So pretty much pangolin bit the bat.
Yeah. So we have the FDA, we have all of these safeguards in place. Well, in China, in these markets, in all these provinces, the FDA does not approve, people eating bats, like, just cause. That's not how we roll, bro.
Yeah, I don't think they have the FDA. I don't think.
In California, they probably got bat dogs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna, hey, I feel like I'm gonna go smash a sparrow today. Whatever. I'm gonna go catch one and eat it. But that's not
if
how
I was
works,
hungry enough, I'd eat a sparrow.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd smash a blue jay if I had to, but
just a little bit of Frank's Red Hot. Just a little bit of Frank.
Put that ish on everything, bro.
What was with that rumor? Was that what was with it? Because, like I said, we heard wet markets, then we heard lab, and then now you're saying
I just heard lab for.
Because Wuhan is one of the only, there's like, I think 3 or 4 in the world biosafety level 4 labs, which are like Ebola, smallpox, the Lassa fever, hantavirus, things like that, like things you need to be in a spacesuit to work on. One of the labs is in Wuhan province. So you put 2 and 2 together and be like, oh my God, but then again, you have to look at it. Okay, if you look at that, and someone says, oh, well, the Chinese did it because they want the economy for China to be, much higher than it should be, or do better. Okay, dude, well, if you're going to do that, release a virus that has a high mortality rate. don't release the common cold for the most part. Don't release pneumonia, bro. Hashtag been there, done that, got the t-shirt, right?
Right.
So, I mean,
well, I mean, the Chinese have, during the George W. Bush administration, didn't the Chinese already buy up a lot of our real estate anyway?
No idea about
That's
that.
what
But I
somebody
mean,
at work
sure,
told me.
maybe, but yeah, hey, you know
I
what?
don't
Good
know.
on them.
I had heard
mean,
that, so I'm like, if they really wanted to, they outmanage so much. They wouldn't
You know
really
what?
need a virus.
Well, think about it
Right.
this way: it's like the United States is a very, very, very young country. Okay, we haven't had the revolutions except for one, hashtag world champs, but we haven't had the revolutions that other countries have. And to quote one of the songs, China, started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, come on, man. I mean, they're good strategists. Do I think they're going to release a virus into the United States or into the world? No, I don't. They're not that sadistic, and they're not going to do anything to hurt their own economy, because it's
Right,
the
right.
McDonald's theory. You figure any country that has a McDonald's in it, you've never seen a war between. Think about that. Any country
Holy.
that has it's called the Golden Arches theory. If you have a McDonald's in your country, you will never go to war with each other.
I don't even like.
What
Is that the highest peak of civilization?
the McDonald's?
Having your own McDonald's.
I mean, you want to think about that. Yeah.
That's what makes us
because
a first world country, not a third.
Yeah, well, it's because all of our
The
economies are
McDonald's
interconnected.
theory.
That's why all of our economies interconnected. So you're not going to do one thing that hurt the other, because it's going to hurt everybody. So
Right.
yeah.
I'll be damned.
So
Hashtag
well,
truth
that's
bombs.
Can you publish that thesis?
yeah. There's
Can you
another-
please publish that
bro,
thesis?
There you go. In the,
Just
The
Google
Send it to the
Golden Arches
UN.
theory.
Can you tag the UN in this clip right now?
I know.
Hashtag United Nations, watch this.
Guys, come
Give
on,
this
like,
boy a
for
degree.
real,
He
like,
just found the cure for world peace.
Well, and I know that we've been spent a little bit of time on the coronavirus, but this is all like completely new stuff that I never heard about. So
We just live in small town Kansas. We don't really. I mean,
well, not even if
there's
we were in
cows
the,
here. We're
even
not,
if we were in the city,
yeah,
no one's sharing any of this stuff that you're sharing with us.
not at all.
No one is explaining any of this. And so to me, but
Yeah.
this is and Wayne, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The theory goes like this. Okay, the Chinese government created this in the lab.
No question about it.
They released it, whether it was on accident or on purpose, and now it got out, and now everyone's affected by it.
Declaration of
And
war,
that's
yeah.
exactly what it is. And that's legit how it's been left. And if you ask people from here and you ask them the same question, that's the most common thing I'll get from someone. So no one's thinking wet markets. Everybody's way out there.
Yeah, World Markets was like the first month I heard it. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it came from the World Markets," and everybody else is like, "I'm thinking over here." I'm like,
They were
"Bullshit,
thinking
there's
World
no way in
War
hell." I'm like, "This is
III.
just a new Ebola virus," and then people were like, "Well, no, because it's in every country," and I'm like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah.
Well, if everybody has it, it can't be an agenda at that point, you know? And then I've heard some talk about Bill
Yeah.
Gates, oh, he's trying to put trackers in us with the vaccine, gave people polio, which is like straight up.
I mean,
I've
I
heard
can-
that quite a few times. I've even read it on the news.
Now, I mean,
Fucking gave
so,
kids
no.
polio in Africa.
So I can definitely tell you that I can see where the correlation between the labs and the man-made things, because it came like 2 of 3 of the viruses, yes, originated in China, but I think that it's because the environmental conditions actually allow for that. But I don't believe that it was
okay.
man-made at all. Just for the simple fact of that, we know that these things transmit from animal to human quite easily if the conditions are proper. So I mean, and that's where it goes back to. It's like, I hate listen. So I don't have Facebook anymore, and there's a reason I have Facebook, because I was like, the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and you have all these self-proclaimed experts on there like, oh my God,
Yep.
Jeb Bush started the coronavirus, or the coronavirus is racist. I seriously heard that. I heard that the coronavirus
Pay attention to me now,
racist.
Dad.
I was like, are you like, what? Are
Look at
you
me, Dad.
joking me? I was like, come on. And I was like, no, I'm done. And my father sends me all these
Yeah.
like these articles from like the Washington Post or CNN. I'm like, bro, hashtag cite your resources. I don't play that game no more. Okay. Like, catch me outside.
You're like,
Yeah.
Dad,
I'm not doing
please
that shit.
stop. This is not.
This isn't even news. It's written in crayon, and it's on a
Yeah,
cardboard
right.
sign. This
Oh,
cannot be
yeah,
an actual
Mark.
science. This is not an article.
I'd be
Yeah,
like, Dad, I'm a
markers are so
disease detective.
1990.
Okay, I know what's going on.
I got 3 doctors just chilling over my shoulder, Dad. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man. So anyway, I was like, no.
Jeb
But
Bush
I
started the
totally get it, and
coronavirus. We need to.
That's a new one.
that's kind of and that's really strange, and that's what really upsets me about this whole thing. It's like the media is not responsibly portraying what should be happening. Like
Right.
when did education become a threat to the people that we should be listening to? And the media, it's like
Exactly.
everyone
And
just
that
wants
was
the news story and the hype.
Yep. But no one wants
Mhm.
that education, the information.
Well, why are they taking such
Right.
extreme measures? If it's not that, if it's pretty much just a cold, your body can not develop antibodies to it, or will it evolve past that? And why are there so many precautions now to COVID?
Because
If
remember
it's not that serious.
that if gone unchecked, it's more than a cold. It's a respiratory infection. It's a respiratory virus. But left unchecked, this thing has the potential, or could have the potential, to do the exact same the Spanish flu did, which is literally, it was just influenza in 1918. But it does something called what we call genetic drift or genetic shift. Genetic drift is what it's doing now. It mutates ever so slightly over the course of X, Y, and Z, months, days, weeks, years, whatever it is. And the body can still recognize it, attack it, because it has different receptors, and the body can go, okay, yep, seen it. Okay, send out the killer T cells to attack it and whatever. But what the influenza virus did is it did a genetic shift, where it has some of the markers of what it's seen, but then the body goes, I've seen you, I'm gonna go get mom, and she's gonna come and beat ass. But then when they come out, it's the virus goes, you have never seen me before, even though I present similar characteristics of it. Now what you've done is you've flooded your body with killer T cells that aren't doing anything, and it just promotes virus propagation, and now it has more things to infect. So that's why they're being very cautious about COVID, is that it has that potential in the future to do that. So basically your body will attack itself and actually give the virus a better home to live in. So that's why they're really kind of cautious about it.
It'd be like a 9-year-old Brock Lesnar right now. First, him being Brock, or him, it'd be like a 9-year-old Brock Lesnar. Could I take him? Yeah, he's 9 years old. But could I take him after he matures? No.
No,
Probably not. So right now he's just COVID is just 9-year-old Brock Lesnar.
Bingo.
Okay, that makes sense.
Great way
that
to
is
put
an
it.
amazing analogy. I swear to
That
goodness,
is
I'm
really
writing
awesome.
that down.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's
I could beat up a
really
9-year-old Brock
awesome.
Lesnar. He's a 9-year-old. Could I take him now? Nope. Okay.
Well, because
That
I
makes
remember,
sense.
I don't know if it came its way to me from the glorious YouTube, but there was this big house, the mansion that people would rent in California.
Still listening.
What they call it, the tick. Oh, you're good. They called it the TikTok house. So it got really popular because people would go there, they would party, and they could track. They go, you're spreading a lot of this virus in this specific area, because they're all. I mean, they have like images from the sky.
Why have we never been invited?
Well, it's in California.
Oh,
We'll find a way.
Yeah,
Nature finds a way.
Oh, you can't anymore. So what happened is they were going there, and from the video they were saying, oh my, you're spreading a lot. So they just powered down the block or the house. I don't know if it was the whole block, but they just powered it down. And a good question that came to my mind is, like, I understand the precaution, but are you like, they were questioning, are you allowed to even do that?
no.
So if someone's renting a property, to even if it's a party or if they have something and they just shut down is that a proper precaution to keep, not keep it at a 9-year-old Brock Lesnar instead of a grown Brock Lesnar?
You don't want 35-year-old Brock Lesnar at your door, bro.
Yeah,
Checks and
no,
balances.
that's an absolute rational response, because if people continue, well, I mean, now that everyone's basically saying, oh no, it doesn't really exist if we don't talk about it. I mean, what's going to happen next if let's say this, and I love the fact that we're using this analogy, 35-year-old Brock Lesnar, right?
Yeah, you don't want him at your door.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You know what's going to happen next is martial law. The military is going to get involved, and now we're going to go from let's all, oh my God, you shut my power down, to bro, if you don't leave, I'm going to shoot you in the face. That's what's
So it becomes full on Randy Orton.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, if you talk about a virus, like let's say a zombie virus or the Z virus, however you want to look at it, if you look at that, what does the government naturally do? What is the progression? It's, hey guys, you should stay inside. Okay, now it's getting worse. No, bro, you should really stay inside. This is not good. Okay, bro, you should put on a mask. Okay, bro, people are getting bit. Okay, shit, now we can't do anything about this. Okay, now we need to put the police out in the yards. Oh, okay, shit, the police are gone now. Okay, call in the National Guard. Cool, now we're going to set martial law. And if you're caught out after curfew, you're going to be arrested or shot. And then, oh my God, that didn't work. Now we're going to shoot everybody on site because we're trying to contain it. Oh crap, that didn't work. Okay, we're going to firebomb a city to try and contain this. Nope, okay, someone got out. You know, this is what goes through my mind, that if this had happened back in 1918, where air travel wasn't a big thing, you know, sea travel was in its, I want to say infancies, but it's been around for like hundreds of years by then. But mass sea travel, yeah, you could isolate a virus, you could isolate a town, but tell me right now, how are you going to isolate? There's no freaking way. If you want to get out of LA and you were infected, you will get out of LA, period. That's just the way it is.
There's a way to get out.
Yeah. And that's, and when that happens, when the infrastructure breaks down to the point that martial law would be declared, that's your next step, because people don't have anything else. They don't have anywhere to turn to. You know, people are going to get shot because they're trying to get out and they're afraid. But that's what the government does. That's their last ditch effort to contain a very, very high mortality virus. That's it.
So it's like right now, Redcoats is coming. The next step, martial law, Redcoats is here. Fucking, yeah.
That's nuts. Because like I said,
That's
I don't think of it. Because like I said, that like at first, I forgot, maybe it was, who knows, it could have been Joe Rogan, could have been a ton of other podcasts, I can't remember. But he just kept talking about, are you allowed to turn off power to do this or do that? And then now you see the progression, and I'm like, shut every power, turn it off. I'm like,
not ours here at Gentleman.
Not ours.
We like our electricity.
Yeah, and remember, those power utilities are not government run; those are private utilities. So the private utilities don't have to say, yeah, sure, government, we'll acquiesce to you, but there are some government funding programs that I guarantee you keep those programs alive. So they're going to pull those strings. You know, and you know what? If it shuts down
the power, nobody's gonna want to be inside.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and
Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu.
and I saw something the other day. Look, we live in a society right now. We live in a society right now that has Uber Eats, Netflix, Hulu, Postmates, alcohol delivery service. Okay, and people are still bitching.
Damn it!
And Frank lived in a fucking attic. Yeah.
Right.
And Frank lived in a fucking attic for like 2 years with none of that and was fine. Like, I'm not saying fine, but come on now. Come on.
We're like, we can't do it.
I feel like the world was a lot less social before COVID.
yeah, right. Exactly.
Don't you tell me I can't go outside and hug my buddies and, you know.
Well, that progression, because like you said, no one ever thinks like, yeah, I've heard of the martial law coming into play, but you don't see the concrete steps that get you there. Now that I see the steps to get you there, I go, holy shit, we're stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, just don't do this, just listen. Like, and then you explained it better, how the virus progresses and moves. If you contain it, like Brock Lesnar, we should be good. Yeah. So for the people watching, just take that into account. Like, for real, this information is incredibly valuable, and I take it. I mean, I was taking it seriously before, but I take it really serious now. Now that I kind of can see this progression, I'm like, okay, we all have a job.
I'm actually gonna start wearing a mask now.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
So
I'm just a rebel. You tell me not to do something, I'll do it twice.
I mean, it is what it is, and that's the beautiful thing. It's like, yeah, you can choose not to wear a mask, but then again, you can also, you know, you have to understand that if a business throws you out because you're supposed to wear a mask and you wear a mask, you know, you can't get all Brody about it. But the thing is that masks do not, and I have to emphasize, masks do not keep you guys safe. Masks do not keep you guys safe.
Because it's airborne.
No,
They don't
it's not
filter air.
airborne. It's not airborne. It's not airborne. It's
They said it was
it's-
airborne.
No. It's respiratory. It's the droplets that come out of your mouth,
Travel through
approximately
droplets.
6 feet. It's different because the gravity of the actual virus is actually too heavy for it to hang in the air for so long, so it actually falls to the ground. But
Okay.
Oh, that
masks
fake news
do
that I've
not.
been reading. Then I heard it was
Yeah, see-
respiratory and airborne.
Mm-mm,
You're
not
the
airborne
best,
yet.
man. You really are.
yet. But masks don't protect you.
Brock Lesnar's wings.
Protects other people. So if you see somebody out
Yeah.
there not wearing a mask getting close to you, be like, bruv, I understand that you had like Chinese food for breakfast, but I don't need you spitting in my face. Thank you very much.
Right.
So masks are to protect other people, not yourself, unless you're wearing like a full respirator, and that's different. But
Okay. But just the
yeah,
basic
I
ones that we
mean-
wear every time we go somewhere.
yeah.
Okay.
What's the 6 feet rule? Well, why is that relevant?
Because probably the way
Because
the
that's how
droplet.
I've
far.
been trying to figure this out forever.
Bingo. Yeah, bingo. So when you talk or when you sneeze, so sneezing is a little different, but when you talk or when you cough, that's how far, because of the weight of the molecule, the DNA
Droplets.
molecule, or I'm sorry, not the droplets. Thank you. That's how far they'll travel before they start to drop because of their weight. Now that could change if you
I
sneeze
thought
because
it
it's much more
went further than
violent.
that. Okay. I thought that it traveled further than 6 feet.
Maybe
It
the
de- it
sneeze.
depends.
It's just more violent. Yeah.
Yeah,
6 feet
cough,
before it starts to go
sneeze.
down, before it starts tapering off.
Yeah, so like if
Okay,
you and I are talking right now, just by me going like like that, that's a potential 6 feet. Like in all reality, it's probably about 4 feet, but it's a 2-foot buffer to like kind of give that extra. But if you sneeze or you cough very violently, yeah, you're looking at almost 10 to 11 feet.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
But
Wow.
well, I'm glad this wasn't a zombie virus. Good lord, we'd all be dead.
Right? Yeah,
I don't know how.
No
but
one
I'd
would.
be- I
No
got
one
my-
would listen.
Hey,
No one.
man.
Everyone's like, doesn't matter. We got this big house. Zombies out front. Just take.
I'm gonna be just fine. I got ravioli and I got snack packs. I'm gonna be just fine during
That's all-
during that
that's all you
zombie
need, bro.
virus.
That's all you need.
I got
That's
my
all Henry
raviolis
does.
and my snack packs. Don't be taking my puddings.
I'll tell you
But
what,
so what
if
is?
you have never,
I was gonna say.
Go ahead, Chase.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just saying.
Okay,
Lane, if
I
you've
was gonna
never-
say. So we talked earlier about the government like plan. Okay, so
Yeah.
so like you were saying, the progression into martial law. I looked it up. It's CONOP and then 8888 is technically the plan that I saw. That was the zombie plan. What is that? They didn't give me any detail. It just had
So it
Wikipedia,
was-
like one sentence.
So it's literally a plan. It's a joke pretty much, but it was if a zombie outbreak. Because remember, this was written. Yeah, it was a joke. This was written back in 2014, I want to say, and it was a joke because that was like the big, zombie hype, and it was like everybody's getting.
It
on
was
the
like season
bandwagon.
2 of Walking Dead.
Exactly. It was the big.
Oh,
thing.
man, they're just trying to be hip.
Yeah,
Go
that's
home,
exactly
CDC,
what they were
drunk.
doing. They're like, oh yeah, well, we should put this out, blah, blah, blah. And it was more just a joke. It was like, hey, this is what we're going to do. But if you really dig into it, there's really no meat or bones about how to deal with it. What is really,
Okay.
what you really want to read is the National Response Framework. And the NRF is what the government and FEMA came up with. It used to be the National, oh God, I can't remember what it was, but it's now the National Response Framework. And if you look at, it's a list of how they're going to respond to different types of disasters. So whether it's man-made, whether it's natural, biological, nuclear, you name it, it kind of gives a set of guidelines. But if you look at pandemic, I'm pretty sure it's probably changed by now, but if you look at pandemic, there is literally, it is the vaguest fucking definition of how they're going to respond I have ever seen. Like, bruh, like it is
Like worse than
unreal.
Joe Biden giving a speech.
Yeah,
Name
like
drop.
it's like, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna respond to a pandemic by providing I forgot.
Who shit my
Okay.
pants?
Yeah, like we'll figure it out when we get there. That's what, seriously, that's what the NRF has said.
You tell me the
basically.
CDC's plan is to wing it and then send it. That's what you're telling me right now.
No.
They're just
Not
gonna
the
wing it,
CDC.
say a little Hail Mary, you know.
Not the CDC, the federal
Oh,
government,
man.
like FEMA, DHS, things like that. CDC has their
Oh,
own,
joy.
like, yeah, they, and that's the thing. It's like, bro, why are we not listening to the CDC right now? Why are people not listening? Yeah, why are we not listening to WHO, CDC, Anthony Fauci? Like, my God, like, stop, like, come on. The NRF is flawed. Like, the framework is flawed, and that was some point that I made in my dissertation. Is it is flawed completely. And it's like you said, Wayne. It's kind of like, yeah, we're gonna roll the dice. Let's play some Candyland on this bitch, and just roll it.
If he dies, he dies. You know, Rocky
Yeah.
IV.
Yeah, who dies, he dies. Yeah. Yeah, so
But that was the thing that got me. Like you just said, it was kind of like, I was like, do you even know what's going on? I was like, are we winging it? Like, and then
think
so
we're
on top
winging
of the federal government winging it, you're not getting the proper media coverage or education that we're supposed to be getting. Hence the new information from you, Cameron.
Yeah, this is not where I expected the episode to go.
No, I did not. But I knew that we would kind of get into a little bit more of, I don't know, the deeper, dark abyss of disease research.
Yeah.
But because I knew that he had qualifications, but good God, who knew that we all were so wrong? I'm like,
I
all
feel
of
like
us.
an idiot now.
Well, not even us. Ton of
just
everybody.
everybody.
I mean, most of the people around.
I'm over like,
everybody.
vaccine, I ain't getting no polio. No, thank you. You know? You can keep your damn polio, Bill Gates. Ain't gonna put one of them microwaves in my arm and track me.
Well, okay. Well, here's a great question then. So, if COVID's our next flu shot, was there any chance of this going away on its own without us even needing a vaccine? Is it going to be like the flu? It's always going to be here. It's a new disease. It's going to be a new thing.
Well,
It was never going to just go away by itself.
Right, because would it even be
because
relevant to have a flu vaccine or the COVID vaccine?
yeah. Oh yeah. Trust
The way
me.
it
You do
evolves,
not,
it'll advance past the properties it'll have.
oh no. Trust me. You don't not want to have a flu vaccine, because if you get the flu and then you pick up COVID somehow, my God, you might as well just sign your own death warrant. Because the flu gives
I'm
you a
sorry.
whole bunch of.
I meant the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, getting them both is a smart.
Okay.
But won't it evolve past the point of what they can test for and give you antibodies for?
Well, I mean,
if they give you antibodies to
no, that's the
like,
same
if they
thing with
were
the
to
flu
give
vaccine,
you-
though. I mean,
so
Yeah.
they update every so often. Okay. I'm about to say, at the time it
yeah,
evolves,
every year.
shot wouldn't be irrelevant anymore, depending on how quickly it evolves. So, like, what I was thinking
Welcome
is,
to
like,
the flu
COVID,
season.
Okay. Like, COVID shot A will
Oh.
protect you from
Bye, Cameron.
purple hair, coughing, and sneezing, right? Then COVID shot B, it's like no more purple hair. Like now you turn to stone. You know,
Yeah.
so like I didn't know if it evolved like that quick or what the rate of
Yeah.
Virology.
how'd you word it? The rate of
Pick your poison. I mean, thousands. I mean, depending, the flu mutates hundreds of times a year. I mean, it just, the reason we don't see it all is because
Oh,
again,
good gracious.
and that's just how it is. The mutate is hundreds of times a year, most likely. I'm not a virologist, but that's kind of what the statistics have shown me. And that it doesn't matter because we don't really see that, because unless it's stronger than the previous virus, then it just gets destroyed. It'll never propagate. So I mean, yeah, I mean, this virus is not going away. The reason we don't see SARS-1 anymore, because they isolated it. There's no way you can isolate this virus now. It's worldwide, period. Like, this will go.
Yep.
This
why
will
would they not have
continue.
isolated it to begin with?
Say again?
Why would they not have isolated as quickly with this one?
Because we're stupid.
China. That's
Because we're stupid. Different governments.
No.
Yeah, no, different.
You said China
stupid.
isolated it like quickly after SARS, right? Why didn't they do it
Different
this
government.
time?
Well, different governments, like he said. Yeah.
Different government, different
It's-
rules. And we all thought that this was like, oh, yeah, no, it's, whatever. Like, so, okay. Case in point, the first confirmed COVID virus that we were actually like, yep, okay, it's a new virus. Yep, okay, was in like December or November of 2019, right? That was the first confirmed. Like that was the first confirmed. Now, it presents as
I didn't hear
pneumonia.
about it until March.
Bingo. So if you didn't hear about it until
Yeah.
March, and the first virus was then post-dated to be confirmed in November, that means that everything that we had seen probably since September or May, June, July, August or July, this has been propagating the world. Because unlike SARS, this presented like a pneumonia. Okay, cool. I'm
Yeah.
going to treat pneumonia. It makes sense. I'm
Right.
going to treat you for pneumonia. And then all of a sudden, boom, 8 months later, it is worldwide spread. And there's nothing you can do about it. But the problem is...
Yeah, there's legit. Yeah.
It's been around for a
Yeah.
fucking year.
the
Well,
problem is
you-
there's
you
no
said that, and it's
international
true.
guidelines.
What in the? We're stupid.
This is rats on boats all over again. This is the Black Plague all over again. But we have technology to have stopped it.
Well,
Well,
and that's the thing. Good, thank goodness. Thank goodness it wasn't. We'd be, if we're stupid now, imagine going like,
fucking year.
you're like, oh wait, this kills one every like 2 people.
fucking year.
well, think about that. Though.
Yeah, this
Is
is
technology a hindrance or is it a good thing? Because the only reason the Spanish flu progressed was because it started in Fort Worth, Texas, and it made its way across the across the Atlantic into Europe. Now we have mass air travel, we have mass train travel, we have boats, we have everything you can possibly imagine. So viruses now, especially high mortalities that lay dormant, they're going to spread like wildfire. There's not a damn thing we can do about it unless we have international guidelines like that have like, we bring everybody together, which will never happen, but we bring everybody together and be like, cool, if one person in this country has an outbreak of something we've never seen before, everybody shut their borders for a 30-day period, no questions asked, sucks for you, deal with it. That's the only way that we can actually really bring about change.
dang.
I think paid days off made people more apt to stay home.
What
You know
does
what I mean? Paid days off for having COVID or potentially having COVID.
paid days off?
Yeah, for me, if I get COVID, I'm sorry, man. I'd be hurting everybody. I'm gonna risk it. I got bills to pay, and they don't
But-
take sympathy in paychecks. You know, I can't cash those in at the bank. White privilege ain't a real
that's-
thing. I actually got to pay
part
my
of the bitch.
bills. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna risk it. You know,
That's
I feel there needs to be something in
That's-
place
that's
for
a
people that
huge-
actually get it.
Yep, that's a huge risk. Like that's a huge, and not just say a risk, but that's the crux of it. You know, it's like back when 1918 happened, it's like, okay, cool. We didn't have the proliferation of social media, you name it. It was like, bro, if you're sick, stay the hell home. Sorry, it sucks for you, but you know, it is what it is. It was either go to work or die.
Yeah.
Pick one. Now it's like go
Yeah.
to work or you're gonna risk getting COVID. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to work because you know you got bills to pay.
Right.
But the dynamic changes if this shit was like a 50 to 70% mortality rate virus. You know,
That's
Fuck
how they were
bills.
pitching it to us at the beginning.
Yeah, that's how it was pitched at the beginning. Was that it was
They were
gonna
like,
be a high
"Oh my,
mortality.
you're gonna die," and then I'm like, "How are we gonna die?" You know, like what's this? This is kind of neat and weird. And they're like, "You're gonna just like sneeze so hard you shit your pants and you die." I don't know. Like they were saying stuff like that. Like it's real bad. You get the sniffles, then you start coughing. Okay,
Well,
then you start coughing, then you're fucked.
Well, it's just
Yeah, I
a
mean,
whole
I don't-
nother.
You know,
It's a whole nother section that the government didn't prepare for, which upsets me because so I work at a plastics processing plant. We've had 3 people who've had COVID. They've been
Mhm.
positive, or their wife's been positive, and then they're positive. And the same thing you said, they got to pay for shit. So they had to come to work, and you know, even if they had an inclination. So when we've had to shut down, like I said, they shut down, they clean, they do all the stuff they have to for 2 hours or 3 hours that day. They clean the part of the plant, and then usually shut it down. Then we come back the next day, right? Like I get that, that's fair. But they've done it 3 times in the last like month and a half, and most of them are older. And my great aunt, my uncle, they had it. They went to Florida like a month ago. They have a vacation property. They went out to dinner one time. I mean, there was a group of 10 of them, and everybody had something. But my aunt and uncle, they had to go in the hospital. They were in the hospital for like 3 weeks to a month. Now they're 74, 75, so it's a little different. So they recovered, but it's just
that's
there's more
impressive.
people who just do it. It is. It was kind of shocking because, to be honest, when I heard that my great aunt and my great uncle had COVID, I said, oh, well, I guess they're going to die.
Why would you think that? Your grandmother was 112, fell down the stairs, said, "What's my bad?"
She was 102.
She was 102.
She was
She
102.
didn't throw her hip or nothing. She just said, "I better fix that in the morning."
Bruh,
You know, like
It was good. She was tough. She's a tough lady.
he said she was only 102. My bad.
Well, I tried to get up too fast.
She moves better than I do, son.
Well, it was just like I said. It scared me because it meant to me. I said, well, Aunt Barbara and Barbara and Lanny, they're gonzo. They're in their 70s, but it was just weird because regardless of political views, the news that you follow, everybody was jumbled. So they didn't believe in any of the stuff that we were talking about. They didn't wear masks. They didn't do any of it. They just said, it's fine. It's just this and that. And then next thing you know, they all come back. And then they all have, I think 4 of them were COVID positive, but the other ones were just sickly, I guess. But I know for a fact my great aunt and my uncle, they were in the hospital. They had to have oxygen. I mean, they were kind of loopy. I mean, it was not a good deal. So that was my firsthand experience of, oh shit, like this is more real than I thought. Firsthand experience really opens that up for you. And then now I have people at work who were just with their wife who was near somebody else who was near somebody else. And then it passed down to her. It was just, thank God it wasn't a zombie virus. Good Lord.
Do you think they're fudging the numbers a little bit in Florida?
Yeah, and that's.
Well, here, let him finish his thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and think about the response that we've seen so far, and think about what could come if this was like a Z virus. Think about that. Like if the zombie virus was like one of those things that was like laying dormant and it didn't happen or it didn't pop out for 30 days, or like we saw with COVID, like it presents as something else for 8 months, and then all of a sudden every single person in the world has it, and then all of a sudden it just activates itself and just presents, then what? You're screwed.
Yeah.
It's not far off. Like it's not far from the truth of how this would happen.
Or if like the people just started climbing to the tallest trees and exploding, spreading more spore, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, play The Last of Us. Play The Last of Us. You'll be like, okay.
I'm terrified. I think I might don't want to.
I'll play it for us.
That'd be good.
Yeah, there you go.
So if there were a zombie outbreak, theoretically, you think it would be more organic than it would be man-made or something like that? You think that it could be some form of like a ancient porous kind of fungus that just kind of melted off the ice caps or something?
I have 2 theories. One, do I think it'd be man-made? Yes, because it's to make it look like what we've seen in the video games and the movies, absolutely would have to be man-made. 2, it would either become 2, it would be natural, and it would probably take the form of like a flu virus mixed with a rabies virus, or maybe like a prion, which kind of takes over your brain and kind of makes you do weird things. But if we were going movies and video games, I'd say man-made.
Okay.
That's some Resident Evil shit.
If I let's say theoretically, I got that zombie virus, right? It ain't gonna be from a zombie bite, right? I couldn't just like cut off my diseased hand, get a hook, call it a day, and be totally living and badass. It wouldn't happen like that, right? Depends.
It depends. If you do it immediately, like remember you've seen World War Z, right?
Yeah. That's badass.
Great movie. I liked it. It had nothing to do with the book, with the exception of one character. If you can read the book, read the book. It is phenomenal.
I'm gonna have to get that.
No, it's phenomenal. Love it. I've read it like 6 times. But yeah, if you catch it soon enough, like if you get bit, because remember, it takes a little while for anything to enter your bloodstream. So if you get bit, especially with our flat teeth, like if it was like an animal that has like really sharp canines or teeth that are meant to puncture, then I would say you got a problem. But if it's our teeth, like flat teeth, then yeah, I would say that if you catch it in time, like just look at somebody go whack, you might be okay. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening.
Okay.
Okay. Would humans kind of transition into a different evolution, like back to having more pronounced canine teeth that were sharper in order
No.
to spread the disease?
No,
No.
no,
Okay. So
because
about how
remember,
long would
it's
they
going to be,
last?
well, it's going to be survival of the fittest. It always is. So if humankind
Right.
survives, remember, zombies are nothing more than organic tissue. So eventually they're going to waste away to literally nothing. Against weather, heat, sun, rain, snow, sleet, you name it, that organic tissue is going to waste away. And when it does, guess what? That zombie no longer exists. And then the individuals who are still alive will continue to propagate the genetics, and then that species or that type of human being will continue to live. So no, we wouldn't. I don't think we would end up in that situation. But
Okay.
Well, but another. I actually had it, then I lost it. Well, shit.
Must have been really
sideways.
important.
Okay. Well, it
Right?
was. I kept trying to remember what it was, but that was. Yeah, I guess that's true. I figured I'm like, so if someone bites you, okay, then you just say game over.
Well, I guess
But
it
then you
depends
said
on
it with
how
the
it's
teeth. Now it
spread.
makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense because you don't really puncture into something.
You don't.
You pull.
You gnaw at it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, but
So a zombie bite, depending on the mode of infection, right?
Yeah.
It depend on if it was man-made versus some kind of organic material that would determine how you would react, how it'd be spread, and how
Yeah,
how
it's
would
all
you
about
dispose of a zombie anyway?
oh, shoot it in the face, right here, right in the head.
Aces trophy, even with whatever, head is trophy shot still, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because remember, it's the definition of zombie
Still organic.
is exactly is an organic organism or human that has very limited brain activity that is driven by a small electrical impulse to feed. So if you destroy the brain, you destroy the brainstem, you destroy the zombie.
Got it. Okay.
And that means a 22 round. Fucking shoot right in the head with a 22, you're good.
Well,
Yeah.
22, we need something a little bit bigger than a 22. 22s are good for one thing, man.
yeah.
Little 22 though. See, I had
It's a
a
9
22,
ball,
and it was more like a.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I didn't know
that's
22 you can fit in your drawers and feel like a real bad motherfucker. That's a James Bond type hooker gun, Keep it in your drawers. It's a dirty little secret, That's a 22.
But again, I was gonna say, I guess I can't think of that question, but it's gonna
Still?
bug me. It's gonna bug me because after
You're
this
gonna think of it
after
like
this
right
is
when you
over,
quit thinking about
I'm
it.
gonna
Yeah.
think of it. It was something that was really good on your topic.
You're gonna
but-
remember in like an hour.
But I know. But I say that was all of my questions. Did you have any follow-up questions?
I sure did. I had quite a few. If you were a Russian scientist, how would you do it?
How
You know
would
what I
I
mean?
do it?
How would you make zombies? If you were a Russian scientist, how would you make zombies?
Zombies.
Zombies.
Well, it'd have to be some kind of, like you said, an organic rate, some kind of infection.
I'm saying, how would he do it?
So you've got a lot of technologies out there, especially
There's some guy out there taking notes.
Exactly.
CRISPR. We talked about that
CRISPR.
gene splicing tool. Did we not talk about CRISPR? I told you that was a good read. You're the man. Yeah, boy.
So
Gene
CRISPR-
splicing material.
So CRISPR, and here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh yeah, CRISPR, I can just go out and get that. Well, there's a little bit more to it than that. But if I was trained, which it wouldn't take probably much to train yourself on it, but if I was trained, I'd begin in a lab. If I was a scientist in a lab, I would begin splicing together the most resilient bacterias and viruses that I could find and then testing to produce the results that I wanted, and then weaponizing them or aerosolizing them. And then doing some
Results
kind
you
of
want me being like a
The zombie.
yeah, a zombie. Like, okay, so you're brain dead or something. You know what? It wouldn't even be that. It would be something that was
Decomposing
highly
too
virulent, highly infectious, that caused, X result that you'd be looking for. Like instant or like 15-second death, but still maintained your basal instinct and ability to be mobile. And then I would release that shit in a crowded area. That's how I would do it. But then again, that would take a lot of like training and a lot of time. It's not like something that's like, oh yeah, I've been working on this for 24 hours. I think we're good.
I've just watched a
you know.
YouTube video. Here I am
Yeah,
winging
right.
it.
Exactly. It ain't gonna work like that. Well, that's how I would.
Well,
do it.
that's also the thing. If it was that, I think that's why it was so believable with the coronavirus to think it was, oh, they made it and they released it on purpose. I don't see a purpose to taking the time to alter DNA to get the results you want to. I mean, all the time to do that. The end result of having a zombie infection you don't really gain anything.
Well, the first doctor
Like-
tried to blow the cords on it. Didn't he die?
Well, that's why I thought the coronavirus, maybe that's why we followed that tail so much, is because it was like, okay, that makes sense, because now then maybe they'll get something from all of us. I don't know. I don't create diseases, but if I was someone who was to create one like the zombie one you were talking about, Cameron, what would I get from it? Like, you wouldn't really get anything. You'd get chaos. Why even if you had the potential to create it, I don't see any positive outcome from doing so. So if someone wanted to create it, I mean, great, you're an ass. But like, I don't see any other way to.
There's no.
I mean, am I wrong?
benefit except there's no benefit in doing it unless you look at it from a purely environmental standpoint. If you look at it from that standpoint, then you have, okay, if I look at it from an environmental aspect, is that, okay, the earth has been overrun by humans, we're destroying its natural resources, we are taking over everything it could possibly imagine, and it can no longer sustain life. So what am I going to do? I'm going to release a virus that kills everything and kills everyone, except for animals or whatever, and then we're going to basically hit the reset button and we're going to start over. That is what you will gain from that, and that is the only outcome that I can see.
It being zoological, or whatever that word was, does that not? I thought it was transferred from animal to animal.
From animal to human.
For animal to human. Animals can't.
No.
transfer
Animals
to
can
other
transmit it to
animals without
themselves.
The human being
Animals can transmit it between two and two, but when it makes that jump between the animal and human, because animals most of the time are carriers, right? When it jumps from animal to human, now the human body doesn't understand how to deal with it, and that's when you start having the propagation of the virus.
Gotcha.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because listen, if anybody's out there and wants to hit the reset button, please don't. I was like, no,
if that's how you get your jollies.
Please, God, don't hit the reset button. We'll just stop. I'll buy a Tesla. I don't care. I'll save the environment. Please don't hit reset. Good Lord.
Leo DiCaprio tried to warn us.
That's right. So did Al Gore.
Al Gore. Go wait in the car. Bring up Al Gore on this show.
I don't remember that.
Take a lap.
But I actually have to. I just got a text from my boss. I have to go into work.
Really?
Yeah, I do. So I'm sorry. I wish we could talk for hours and hours and hours.
Oh, this is great, man.
But yeah, I legit have to go to work early.
We're gonna mean to keep you from your kids or nothing or whatever.
Yeah,
oh, you're good, bro.
But
you're good.
But Cameron, man, so I found your stuff on Zombie Research Society. I've got the website pulled up right here. There's a ton of information. So if any of you guys are curious, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, definitely check out their website. I mean, you've got zombie survival, zombie science, zombie culture. They even have a section for Netflix zombie movies.
Yeah.
So if you want to go down this Z virus hole, go check out Zombie Culture Society. You'll find under experts, you'll find Cameron right there. Cameron, man, we've really appreciated your time. This has been a great talk. And who knows? Maybe we'll send you an address. And maybe we'll get a little gift in the mail.
And with the exception of Florida, if you see your neighbor eating someone's face off, talk to Cameron.
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
the exception being Florida. I don't know why, but did you hear about that recently?
I did.
Yeah, see? If you see that, you don't live in Florida. Out regards to Zambi, you talk to this man right here.
That's right.
Boom.
All right, man. We really appreciate you being on the show, bro.
Anytime, guys. I
Cameron,
really
you're awesome, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey,
yeah, no
best,
problem.
Man.
Anytime. Hey, you got a chair here. Anytime.
Hey, man, hit me up the link, and we'll share the podcast on the ZRS.
Awesome.
Definitely going
Cameron,
to, bro.
You're the man.
Take it easy.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Later.